If you play some gacha games like I do, you're likely familiar with a character banner coming with a weapon banner. In Honkai Star Rail, for example, it's light cones. In Genshin and Wuthering Waves, it's weapons, and in Zenless Zone Zero, it's W engines. In all these cases, gacha games typically run 2 banner items to pull for to complete the package. One for the character and access to their kit, and the other for the weapon that empowers and emboldens that kit. But it's this exact area where Destiny Rising chooses to do things a little differently. Destiny Rising makes all its weapons attainable through gameplay. Some guns, like the exotics, are super rare and hard to get, but no amount of money will pull you a higher-end weapon. Time, effort, and coordination are the only ways to manage that. In the last video, we talked about the characters that are coming and their kits, and we touched a little on type advantages in Shinkas, but today, I want to tackle the weapon system and how Destiny Rising takes a different approach to a familiar system. As I mentioned in my last video, characters' weapons loadouts are locked to their specific weapon classes. This means, if Wolf is the hero you're using, you will be limited to only auto rifles and grenade launchers as your weapons of choice. Further, weapons are typically sorted into several categories: rapid fire, piercing, impact, and spread. These weapon types feed into the game's champion-like system, Shinkas. In higher-end activities, some enemies will have shields that are weak only to specific weapon types. Rapid-fire Shinkas, for example, are weak to rapid-fire weapons like crossbows, SMGs, and auto rifles, while piercing Shinkas are weak to weapons like scout and sniper rifles and swords. Impact Shinkas are weak to shotguns and fusion rifles, and spread Shinkas are weak to grenade launchers and rockets. These restrictions in combat style types feed directly into the build crafting and team composition aspects of the game's mechanics. Tackling higher-end content will usually require preparing for combat-specific element shields and Shinka types. Though using these weapon types are preferred and more efficient, they aren't required, however. An arc weapon can still break a solar shield, and an auto can still break a piercing barrier. But it requires a significant amount more effort and a lot longer of a time frame. This will push you into pivoting in certain situations and having the ability to swap between characters in a lot of the modes that will offer you the chance to pivot and adjust as necessary, akin to changing weapons in the current D2 standard. As of the beta, in total, there were 96 weapons to collect and use, including 16 rare, 31 legendary, 30 mythic, and 19 exotic weapons. Just like in Destiny's mainline entries, only one exotic may be equipped per character, but the new weapon class Mythic has no such restrictions. Rare weapons act as leveling weapons, while most loadouts will be composed of legendary, mythic, and exotic weapons. In terms of power, legendary and mythic weapons operate on a similar platform with one major difference: the perk pools. Each weapon has its own trait pool it pulls from, typically sticking to 3 traits of each type per weapon. For example, a rare weapon can roll with one of 3 rare perks in each of the columns, whereas a legendary can roll with one of 6 in each columns, 3 rare options and 3 legendary. At the mythic level, there are 9 total options per column, adding in 3 mythic perks per column. These mythic perks are the goal, as most of them are uber strong and help to build into the power fantasy. Chasing the mythic perks on the mythic weapons is a long-term stretch goal for players, but a lot of fan-favorite legendary perks from Destiny 2 make their return here as well as new, powerful perks. Rare perks, while not as powerful as the other 2 options, are also strong enough to hold up in their own regard. Perks like Hound the Broken, which grants the weapon plus 25% damage to targets below 50% health, and Restock, where reloading grants the top half of the magazine plus 20% damage with final blows, increasing the number of rounds buffed. Each perk has its strengths and weaknesses that allow for customization to any degree that a player would see fit. Like other things in the game, perks are sorted into multiple categories, such as damage, ammo, handling, on hit, and utility, and specialize in their respective fields. All potential perk roll combinations are viewable in the game, with suggested recommended perks acting as the God roll identifier as well, A welcome change from Destiny 2, where Life.gg is pretty much required to figure these things out. Each weapon has a frame type, which dictates its DPS, magazine cap, rate of fire, and damage stats, an origin trait, and 2 random rolled traits. Origin traits are fixed based on the foundry who produced the weapon, and collecting all the weapons from that foundry enhances the origin perk on all weapons from that foundry, making it grant extra effects. For example, the Rivixen Right Foundry Origins trait, Culture Clash, increases all of their weapons' minimum damage by 15%, making them more effective against out-of-range enemies. The enhanced version also offers a plus 3% weapon damage across the board boost. This gives incentives to collect all the weapons, regardless of if you'll use them, simply for the free passive upgrades. In addition to everything above, the weapon mod system has been completely reworked from the alpha to the beta, and likely also will have some changes in the full release to offer new bonuses that make repeated investment worthwhile. Each weapon can equip up to 3 mods at a time, and mods come in a variety of quality: common, white, uncommon, green, rare, blue, legendary, purple, mythic, orange, and exotic, yellow. Each one also has random effects such as increasing range, body shot damage, etc. The value of the effect listed depends on the rarity utilized. Mods are random in their application, meaning a common level mod could roll into a legendary level mod based on your good luck and RNG. The good news for those looking to min-max is, a mod can only decrypt at value or above, so a legendary mod will only decrypt to legendary or mythic level. In addition, mods themselves will drop enhanced from specific high-tier activities, which will grant additional enhancements to your weapons. The Devil Scope D2, for example, grants plus 7.5% body shot damage, as well as plus 1.6% to 16% close range damage, and plus 3 to 30 range. These are the mods you'll want to chase. In addition, you can upgrade mythic mods to exotic tier, further increasing the bonuses available. Weapons can be leveled in 5-level chunks based on team level and enhanced up to 10 times, which grants a number of bonuses to your weapons. The great news here is that it's not a singular weapon specific. If, for example, you upgrade your mythic auto rifle, wrongful ingress, to plus 8 enhancement, and then get a better, higher leveled roll with better perks, you won't need to make that investment again. Once you upgrade 1 copy of that weapon, any and all future drops of that same weapon will be enhanced to the same level. In addition, any mods you roll on that specific weapon will also be available to equip on any new drops of that weapon, which makes chasing the god rolls extremely worth your time and effort. Exotic weapons come with standard rolls, but otherwise work similarly to the other weapons. The difference being that they can't equip mods. Instead, there's an exotic refinement option that grants a lot of bonuses to the weapon. In order to fully upgrade the catalyst for an exotic, multiple copies of that exotic are required, but stat boosts can be purchased using rare exotic materials such as exotic infusion cores and superimposed photons. These benefits range from plus 8 handling and plus 10 reload speed to weapon damage bonuses depending on the weapon you're upgrading. There's also shaders that can be applied to weapons, but these are really single use only and work similarly to Destiny 2's old shader system. Outside of that, we've essentially covered everything you need to know about the weapon system. Weapons in every category and type can drop a weapon with different elemental charges, so regardless of which character you choose to run, you'll be able to equip a weapon that affects the shields in that activity. Shinkas will be the enemies that really play directly into your decision of which characters and, by transit, which weapons to run. This should get you up to speed and running with the weapon system in Destiny Rising upon release. Hopefully you liked this video, and if you haven't already, you can feel free to check out my other videos, including my last video, which went over all 14 of the characters and their kits. I plan to release one more video before launch covering the activities you'll be able to run in Destiny Rising. If that interests you, you can feel free to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications when I post a new video. I'm Automaton. Thanks for watching, and
see you tomorrow!